Greetings, folks. Iolair here. I'm back again with another German battleship replay. Yes, the German battleship love fest continues. Obviously, in the last few days, it's been mostly about the Odin, with a couple of review videos, a couple of import assessments of her characteristics and builds and so on. And I'll leave links to those videos in the description below if you haven't had a chance to see those. This match features myself in the Mighty Bismarck, and I am in division with Lynn Wilkie, who is playing the Roma. We are in a tier 8 domination match here on Crash Zone Alpha with one carrier and lots of battleships per side. I run a blended secondary survivability build on my Bismarck because sometimes I have some really solid secondary engagements and other times I have pretty lackluster engagements, and I want to sort of strike a balance between, maximizing my secondaries and maximizing my survivability. So I go for a blended build like this, and I have for a long time. And I covered this also in my secondary build video that I did last year, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description below as well if you haven't seen it. So Lynn and I have, or at least I have, come over here to Charlie to sort of assert my dominance. It's not uncommon when I'm top tier like this in a German battleship that I will move in closely enough to a cap that my secondaries can cover the cap, basically to act as a deterrent. Even if I don't do a lot of damage, I can deter an opponent from pushing in very aggressively. Now, I've pushed in a little, probably too closely than I should have, because I am in range of a North Carolina, a Richelieu, and a Massachusetts. So I do peel off here. There was a Shenyang that was detected on the southeast side of Charlie. In fact, we see his torpedoes coming in. I did pop hydro in anticipation that he probably would send on me. These torpedoes should expire before they reach me. In fact, there's the Shenyang. And yeah, he's just on the southeast side of the cap. I don't know why he's lit. He maybe fired his guns, or maybe he's lit by the planes. I think that's what it is. But the two destroyers that we have in the Charlie cap are doing a good job sort of pushing him away, and I'm going to get a salvo. I don't remember if I hit anything here. But like I said, it's not uncommon when I'm top tier as a German battleship like this, that I will try to be close enough to the cap that everybody knows I'm there, my secondaries are ready to go, basically act as sort of a psychological deterrent. But in this particular case, our two destroyers actually do a really good job pushing off the Shenyang, who's now down to about a third or maybe a quarter of his health. Now, our two destroyers in Charlie that have just gotten the cap, well, in fact, one just went down to torpedoes from the Fubuki, and that's kind of a risk. I think our two destroyers did a good job coordinating, but with them being in such close proximity to each other in the smoke, presents a tremendous risk if there is a good torpedo boat like a Fubuki that can send into the smoke. There's a pretty good chance that one or both of them could take some damage or go down. So it's usually not a good idea, in my experience, to have both destroyers in a cap be that close to each other, so that they don't, so they avoid sort of a double strike opportunity for the opponents. Like I said, we have been able to get Charlie. The Shenyang is making his way back. Right now we don't have our Anshan in my view, so I'm not sure how healthy he is. Our carrier is actually doing a good job keeping the Shenyang under pressure with some rocket planes, and so hopefully we can finish off the Shenyang fairly quickly here. Now, at this point, Lynn and I say it's time to push. The Richelieu and the Massachusetts are pulling away. The North Carolina peeled off to the north. So we have a chance to push here. And this is a good example of where battleships, when they push, can help win games. And in fact, you see, if you look at chat, I did tell our Baltimore that we are pushing. I want him to fall in behind me in quasi formation so that he can provide us support. AA isn't so much of an issue because these are tier 6 ships, or tier 6 planes, excuse me, but more in terms of the in case the Anshan that was last detected at India 4 shows up, we want to be able to have some radar that can support us, weed out that destroyer if he ends up trying to put some torpedoes in on this column that's pushing south. Now, my original plan here was to head directly to Bravo, but I've noticed here that the Richelieu is coming into Charlie, which is a cap obviously we've taken, and we want to defend our cap. And also, I also don't want to have my broadside to the Richelieu. That was kind of a mediocre hit, just one pen. But I don't want to have my broadside to the Richelieu, and so I'm going to turn in here and put some pressure on him to try to keep him off the cap. Our Anshan, which is on the northwest side of the cap, doing a good job spotting. He's made a smart choice to not push into the cap. We've just briefly detected the Fubuki on the east side of the cap. Ooh, that was a nice hit on the Richelieu. No sets, but lots of penetrating damage, disabled one of his guns, took out about half of his remaining health. So I'm turning in here. Lynn is going to follow in with me. Hopefully our Baltimore will go and try to grab the Bravo cap for us, although it looks like he's turning away as well. Now the Richelieu, being a front gun only ship, has turned his stern to me, so he's not going to be able to get his main battery on me. It does kind of feel like he's running a full secondary build. There's quite a few secondary hits that he's getting on me. I'm also trying to stay angled to the Massachusetts, which is directly to my east. Now I did set a fire on the Richelieu with my secondaries, and you can see that my damage counter is ticking up. So he hasn't been able to just extinguish, that fire, and he was already quite low on health. Now switch my secondaries to the Massachusetts. Ooh, nice. I do get the kill on the Richelieu. The Fubuki was able to secure the Charlie cap from us. I'm slowing here for two reasons. First of all, I want to use the island that is to my 11 o'clock position as basically a torpedo shield. We don't know when the last time the Fubuki sent torpedoes. Obviously, I'm detected here with the I'm within detection range of the Massachusetts. I'm also slowing here because I've lost about half my health, so I've done a fair amount of tanking. I'm up to a little over 1.1 million tanked. But I want Lynn to now be the tip of the spear, start drawing some of the fire. I'll get another heal in here. In fact, I'm using it right now. And then it looks like our New Mexico is actually going to be the one that heads to Bravo, though there's the Anshan that we earlier detected on the India line is now down by Juliet on the Juliet line, and that could be a threat for the New Mexico. In any case, it does look like the Massachusetts is taking his attention off me. I'm going to start pushing forward here a little bit. My hydro is going to be up in about 25 seconds, but we do detect the torpedoes from the Fubuki. Yes, he's sent all three sets, so we're pretty confident at this point that we can start pushing in. Although the Fubuki's torpedoes come up reasonably fast, but my hydro should be ready to go. That was a pretty good chunk, about 8.5K from the Massachusetts. But things have gotten very interesting, and so the Bayern and the North Carolina have arrived from the Delta cap. So we are now going into full brawl mode here at Charlie. And as Lynn likes to refer to it, it is time to go full German. So I'm going to try to be as angled as I can to the Massachusetts and the North Carolina. Obviously, the Bayern was slightly smaller caliber. I'm not too concerned about. The Fubuki shows up, so we're going to immediately train our secondaries and main battery on him. Lynn gets the kill there, and we can reasonably expect that there are probably torpedoes on the way. We're not pushing forward here quite at full speed yet. There are the torpedoes. Be able to slow here and avoid that set. But like I said, it is now time to really put the heat on these battleships that are pushing in towards Charlie. Got a broadside shot on the Bayern. Only one pan. That was pretty disappointing. I did try to aim slightly above the water line so that I wouldn't have a bunch of shells disperse into the water, but that looked like that still happened, which is kind of frustrating. My biggest concern at this point in the brawl was not the Bayern or the North Carolina. It was the Massachusetts, who basically has my broadside, and I am being targeted here. There are torpedoes from the Jervis that was just detected on the northeast side of the Charlie cap. So Lynn takes one torpedo. I'm going to be able to accelerate and turn here, and I think I do avoid all of these. Yes, I do. Massachusetts continues to like sort of pepper me on my side. Another broadside shot on the Byron. Again, you can see I'm aiming slightly high. Again, only one pen. That was kind of frustrating at this range. I'm not going to get a Citadel on the Byron at this distance, but I could definitely get some heavy penetrating hits. The North Carolina, on the other hand, is a much squishier battleship, and he is flat broadside. So rear guns out. And where I can only get one pen on the, Byron, I get two Citadels on the the North Carolina. That salvo, finally, I get all four shells on. Don't quite finish him off. Lynn gets the kill there. And now we've successfully are taking back the Charlie Cap, and we've successfully survived that brawl. I have two heals remaining. One is going to be ready to go in about 25 seconds, and I'll keep my stern on the Massachusetts so that I minimize the amount of damage. Obviously, I'm concerned about the Jervis that has now been redetected on the south side of Delta. And I don't have Hydro up right now, but he's pretty occupied with our Benson and our Sinop. And I'm going to swing my main battery over, and he's going to avoid some torpedoes from the Benson. My salvo goes out, and I get the kill. Just need a couple of overpens. So, and keep getting reset. Hopefully we'll get the Charlie Cap here. The Anshan that I was mentioning that was down on the India and Juliet line that was a potential threat to our New Mexico has decided to go carrier hunting and go kill our carrier. And again, I'm going to plead to players, please don't go carrier hunting. It is a high risk, low reward exercise. I know a lot of players that like doing it. I think they see it as a challenge. I know some players believe that they're doing their team a service, but they're not really in most cases, because the Anshan could have just as well been taking caps or sinking the New Mexico and getting both Alpha and Bravo for his team, but he didn't do that. And he's okay, great. He sank the carrier, but that's not really helping his team to go win. So one salvo out on the Mass. He's got some shells in, but I'm able to take just some chip damage and able to finish him off. That's my fourth kill. And in fact, at this point, I don't think I even realized I had high caliber at this point because of the heavy brawl that we were in here at Charlie. And the only opponent that we can see right now is the London. The Anshan, we don't see at all. Presumably he's on his way to a cap. We don't know where the opposing carrier is. Looks like he's probably moved himself somewhere behind near where the London is, and we just don't detect him. That salvo went out and didn't hit anything, didn't connect at all. We are over 900 points. We have all four caps, and so we're going to rapidly get to 1,000 points here. I'm going to get hopefully at least a couple more salvos off. He's presenting a pretty flat broadside here. Let's see how this salvo goes. And that's looking pretty good. All right, well, 5 shells on, but only 1 pen, so that was a little disappointing. The Anshan has moved into Alpha, by the way, but it's a little too late at this point. We're over 950 points. Another salvo out on the London here. Let's see, am I going to fire here or not? Yes. Okay, there we go. And I guess I think I was waiting for him to commit to a turn. And that salvo doesn't look as good. 6,000. Well, I'm not going to quite kill him there. I'm hoping I'm going to get one more salvo here, get my Kraken, maybe get Confederate out of it. And am I going to be able to fire here with this terrain in the way? We're up to 995 points. Yeah, I fire. I don't know if these shells are going to land. I don't think they do. Yeah, we end up winning on 1,000 points. So this was a really good match, a good demonstration of the need to push as a battleship. I got 175 secondary hits. 4 kills, high caliber, and with the 175 secondary hits, ideally I should have gotten in the upper 20,000 to 30,000, but I only get just shy of 20,000 in Alpha, which is not very good. I think it's mostly because these were close engagement secondary hits against battleships where I was hitting surfaces that my secondaries could not penetrate. But in any case, a good match. I hope everybody did enjoy it and the commentary. Please do leave your comments below, and as always, we hope to see you out there in the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.